So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we would like to invite for all guests and participants to enter the main hall. And we would like also to invite to sit in the table arrangement in front at first, because our event this afternoon will start very soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hotel Pullman Jakarta. To ensure the safety and comfort during this event, let us listen to a short safety video from Hotel Pullman Jakarta.
Welcome to Jakarta, Indonesia. Pullman Jakarta Indonesia telah memenuhi standar keamanan gedung tertingkat. Pullman Jakarta Indonesia has met the safety and security standard for high-rise building. Di dalam gedung telah terpasang alat pendeteksi dan alat pemadam kebakaran. The building is fully equipped with fire detection and fire extinguisher devices. Di area luar gedung terpasang hydrant pilar untuk penanggulangan kebakaran gedung. The hydrants are available at outside area of the building. Didukung mesin penggerak pompa untuk hydrant dan sprinkler. Hydrant and sprinkler system are supported by water pump. Tersedia alat perlengkapan pendukung lain untuk pemadam kebakaran yang berada di fire trolley. Supporting tools and equipments for firefighting are available in the fire brigade trolley. Demi keamanan dan kenyamanan para tamu, Gedung Pullman Jakarta Indonesia telah terpasang CCTV yang memonitor selama 24 jam non-stop. CCTV cameras are allocated around the building and monitored in 24 hours for our guest safety and comfort. Bila terjadi keadaan darurat, seperti kebakaran atau gempa bumi, mohon untuk tidak menggunakan lift. In case of emergency situation, such as fire or earthquake, please do not use the elevator. Harap tenang dan tidak panik ketika menuju pintu exit yang telah disediakan. Emergency exit road is located at the end of the room corridor. Please remain calm and do not panic. Ikuti petunjuk emergency evacuation route yang telah terpasang. Saat ini Anda berada di Grand On Tamrin Pullman Jakarta, Indonesia. You are currently in Grand On Tamrin Pullman Jakarta, Indonesia. Please follow the evacuation route sign that have been installed around the area. Emergency evacuation assembly area berada di luar tempat parkir. Evacuation assembly area is designated at outside the parking lot. Petugas keamanan dan staf kami selalu mendapatkan training pengamanan kebakaran secara periodik. Our security officer and staff are periodically trained with fire safety and fire warden. Terima kasih atas perhatian Anda. Thank you for your attention.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to warmly welcome you at Hotel Pullman Jakarta to the IGS second White Paper Launching 2025. Let's give a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Teguh Faris from IGS Committee, will be your MC for our occasions today. Moving to our first agenda is the national anthem of the Republic of Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to Hotel Pullman Jakarta. And in this opportunity, we would like also to specially recognize the presence of IGS board today. We would like to welcome to Bapak Aris Mulya Azov as the chairman of Indonesia Gas Society. Welcome and good afternoon, Bapak.
Tes. Selamat sore. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. Thank you for attending. It is my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to all of you as we gather for the launch of our second white paper 2025. We are delighted to have you with us and truly appreciate your participation in this pivotal event. We also extend our warm appreciation to our sponsor and committee member for their diligent effort in ensuring the success of this occasion. As we know, the energy sector is a major driver of economic growth and development, and Indonesia is no exception. We abundant natural resources and a strategic location in the Asia-Pacific region. We believe that Indonesia can be a key player in a global energy market, especially in natural gas and renewable energy sources. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, IGS has reached its 11th anniversary in June 2025. In celebration of this milestone, we have officially released our second white paper with the theme Bridging the Next Gas Wave, What Will It to Take to Unlock Indonesia Gas Potential. IGS, in collaboration with our esteemed partner at Restart Energy, has spent several months conducting rigorous research analysis for this paper. Second white paper aimed to provide a comprehensive overview of the role of natural gas in Indonesia energy landscape, particularly as we navigate our transition toward net zero emission target by 2060. Our white paper highlights several criteria areas. One, gas LNG supply and demand. The white paper highlights Indonesian regional LNG supply demand gaps and discuss the need for import, particularly in area not linked to current or our planned gas sources. Second, infrastructure and regulation. It stressed the importance of integrated infrastructure to connect domestic supply and demand center, aiming to avoid shortage in regions like Java and Sumatra. Commercial challenge. The document notes sector issues such as price cap, DMO maximization, small gas offtake, and insufficient LNG infrastructure. And the last one, recommendation, of course, the white paper provides insight, identify challenge, and offers actionable recommendation for government and industry to address sector gap and seize opportunity. In a moment, the Restart Energy team will provide an in-depth presentation of the white paper finding and recommendations. The presentation will offer valuable perspective and how we can effectively tackle the challenge and leverage the opportunity outlined in the report. Ladies and gentlemen, we truly hope IGS can play a role and provide a real contribution to the gas business in Indonesia, especially during the transition phase toward net zero emission. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the IGS committee and members for their unwavering support, and to our sponsor, Pertamina Persero, PLN Energy Premier Indonesia, GTS International, Perusahaan Gas Negara, and the last, Transportasi Gas Indonesia. Special thanks also go to Restart Energy for their exceptional effort and collaboration in bringing this white paper to fruition. Finally, thank you all for attending to the event. Your presence and engagement are vital for working together to shape the future of the Indonesian energy sector, especially within the gas industry. After this, I would like to invite our partner collaboration from Restart Energy, Mr. Samuel Low, to present the key message for our white paper 2025. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pak Aris Mulya Azov, as the chairman of Indonesia Gas Society. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are also deeply honored to have with us today the board committee and member of IGS, as well as the representative from government, industry leaders, expert, and esteemed colleagues who share our vision together for advancing the sustainability of energy and gas business in Indonesia. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are witnessing the second white paper launching from IGS in 2025. It represents the IGS active commitment to contributing the development of the gas industry in Indonesia, while also providing strategic insights and benefits for all the committee members and also stakeholders. The purpose of this white paper launching is to promoting business strategy of gas sector in Indonesia and advancing government vision for national development, as well as to strengthen the presence of Indonesia's LNG and gas business in the global stage. Before we are moving to our next agenda, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to inform the full agenda of our event today. So we follow the opening remarks from the IGS chairman. After this, we will follow the white paper presentations, will be specially presented by the Restart Energy. And after that, we will follow the interactive discussions that will be continued by the Q&A sessions. And in the last agenda, there will be an official handover of IGS white paper and also the delivery of the plaque sponsors appreciations. So, ladies and gentlemen, moving our next agenda is the IGS white paper presentations. We are privileged to hear from Restart Energy as the IGS partner who will share strategic perspective on the future of the energy gas sector. Please welcome Mr. Samuel Law, partner and head of Asia Pacific Advisory, Restart Energy.
Okay. Selamat sore, everyone. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. I think I've met many of you before, but for those that I've not met, my name is Samuel. I'm a partner at Restart Energy, and I head up our consulting business. And I'm really excited to be here actually this afternoon to launch this white paper. It's actually the second white paper, the second in the series. The first one was last year, where it was a higher overview. And this year we have decided to go deeper and provide you more understanding about the Indonesia gas landscape. But before I jump into the presentation, I wanted to provide acknowledgements to a couple of people. First off, to Pak Aris and the IGS committee and leadership for trusting us and partnering with us to launch this white paper. Next, I also wanted to thank the Restart Energy advisory team. It's a team that has been working on this white paper across May and June in collaboration with the IGS committee as well. Sharing thoughts, discussing the landscape, and coming up with the insights. Along the way, we have also, worked with our local research team. So Restart Energy, we have a local research team in Jakarta as well that has contributed a lot of the insights that we have on this white paper. But along the journey, we have also interviewed many players and stakeholders across the gas value chain, to gather all the insights and have these discussions that has brought to, what this white paper is today. And the white paper actually is 50, 60 pages long. It's quite an extensive document. And I'm only given 20 minutes today to present to you the key messages from the white paper. I will try my best to do justice to this 50 to 60 pages long document, but I do hope that you will get your hands on the document, read through the document, and we would be very happy to debate with you, to discuss with you the Indonesia gas landscape, which is not straightforward at all. Okay, so let me jump into it. So today there are three sections that I want to walk through. The first is on the key messages. This is only a one slide section, but if you were to go home today and you don't remember anything, I hope this one slide is what you will be able to bring home. The second section is the current gas market, where we will share our insights across supply, demand, balance, and infrastructure. And then the last section is where I want to walk through some of the challenges and opportunities that we have identified in the report. Okay, so this is just one slide, but there are four key messages that we wanted to walk you through this afternoon. Number one, Indonesia's gas demand-supply balance is expected to experience tightness until 2028. It will stabilize thereafter with additional export potential as key LNG projects come online through 2035. As you know, Abadi, IDD, and Andaman are expected to start production post-2028. The output is essential to ease near-term shortfall and backfill declining supply from legacy basins in East Java, South Sumatra, and East Kalimantan. Number two, Indonesia's infrastructure readiness to receive LNG is improving, but targeted interventions, including the addition of regasification terminals and expansion of pipeline infrastructure, remain necessary to enable imports. Regasification terminals in North Sumatra are well integrated through rising gas demand in West Java and Central and East Java may exceed available capacity. Planned terminals in Jakarta Bay, Gresik, Lamongan, or Tuban could help, but require long-term offtake, faster permitting, and clear access. Number three, continued development of interagency coordination and regulatory and commercial guidelines are essential for ensuring smooth LNG operations, infrastructure development, and market growth. Number four, as LNG becomes increasingly central to Indonesia's energy security, developing expertise in feasible LNG procurement, infrastructure access, and distribution models is expected to be essential for optimizing regional LNG value chains. As Indonesia prepares to ride the next gas wave, success will hinge on more than new supply. Realizing the country's gas potential will depend on how effectively infrastructure, market demand, and regulatory frameworks are brought into alignment, unlocking delivery, catalyzing investment, and supporting a more resilient and inclusive energy future. Right. So this is the one slide, and the main key takeaways. Let's move to the next section, and here is where we want to talk about the current gas market. And to start us off, let's start with Indonesia's gas demand. On the left-hand side is a chart on Indonesia gas demand forecast by sector. And moving to the right chart, it's Indonesia's gas demand forecast by region. Rystad Energy projects domestic gas consumption to grow from 3,765 million scarves per day in 2025 to 4,980 million scarves per day by 2035, led by the industrial and power sectors. Beyond 2045, demand is expected to stabilize at around 5,800 million scarves per day, with gas remaining a key industrial feedstock and a flexible complement to intermittent renewables. Indonesia's industrial and fertilizer gas demand is set to grow, driven by the National Long-Term Development Plan 2025 to 2045, which aims to raise this sector's GDP share. Within industry, petrochemicals, chemicals, EVs, and battery manufacturing will be key growth drivers, with industrial gas demand forecast to grow at 2.3% CAGR from 2025 to 2035. In fertilizers, Pupuk Indonesia is advancing blue and green ammonia investments to meet regional low carbon fuel demand. From 2025 to 2035, gas demand in this sector is projected to grow at 3% CAGR. The power sector is also expected to see steady gas demand growth, supported by coal to gas switching under the Just Energy Transition Plan, JETP, and diesel replacement initiatives led by PLN. Key legacy gas demand centers of Java and Sumatra are expected to contribute about 70% of Indonesia's total gas demand, while the rest of the country is projected to experience strong demand growth. Now, let's move on to the supply side of things. So on this chart, you'll see, the producing supply in dark blue, and then under development and other discoveries. But then we have highlighted also the three very important projects, IDD, Andaman, and Abadi. In the near term, Indonesia's gas supply is expected to decline due to the maturing of operational fields. From 2028, three mega projects, IDD, Abadi, and Andaman, are expected to start production, driving total gas supply to peak at over 7,500 million scf per day in 2032. Future supply will be increasingly concentrated in Kalimantan, Maluku, and Papua, while demand remains centered in Java and Sumatra. With the Andaman project as the only major development in the western region, domestic LNG is expected to play a growing role in balancing interregional gas flows, given pipeline limitations and Indonesia's archipelagic geography. As domestic demand rises, Indonesia is gradually shifting from an export-first strategy to prioritizing local consumption. This shift is reinforced by a draft bill approved in July 2024, which mandated that 60% of upstream gas production be allocated to the domestic market, up from the previous 25 to 30%. Early signs of this shift were observed in the first half of 2025, with some export cargoes and pipe gas volumes redirected to local buyers. While this policy may help alleviate regional supply gaps, it could also impact upstream investment appetite, especially if domestic price caps remain in place and reduce project returns. Now, bringing demand and supply together, right? Demand is the line that you see from 2025 to 2050, and the columns there are our supply. So domestic gas is expected to face moderate supply shortfall towards 2028. Redirection of contract exports to the domestic market will be required, particularly in regions with uneven supply distribution and infrastructure constraints. Post-2028, volumes from pre-FID projects are expected to alleviate tightness, generating surplus capacity through 2034. Excess pipe gas and LNG volumes could be redirected for LNG export. Any delays in these projects risk delaying the restoration of the domestic gas market balance. Okay, and in this edition of the report, we actually also showed you regional balances, and I think this is interesting for you to look at. And in the report, we actually gave you overviews of each of these provincial balances. So starting on the left, North Sumatra. So what you see there is in dark blue, the amount of pipe gas supply to these provinces, and in light blue, the amount of domestic LNG required to reach some of these provinces. We have made some assumptions on, any excess supply flowing down to other provinces, right? And that's why you see, some of the regions, like any excess supply from North Sumatra would have flowed down to Central and South Sumatra and through to West Java, etc. And we have detailed this more in the report. But starting on the left on North Sumatra, from 2030, increased output from Anggur or Gebang PSC and Andaman is expected to fully replace regasified domestic LNG cargoes for local consumption. For Central and South Sumatra, apart from Corridor and Asset 2, Natuna gas is likely to support regional demand post-2028 when the Singapore export contract ends. For West Java, a very interesting region, gas supply depends on Sumatra pipe gas and LNG via FSRUs, with full utilization limited. Planned offshore PLN terminals may mainly serve power, with no plans yet for link to industries. And while current total capacity appears sufficient for near-term needs for West Java, several barriers limit full utilization. FSRU Java Satu is dedicated to a single power plant and remains underutilized. FSRU Lampung and Nusantara Regas primarily serve Muara Karang and Muara Tawar. Nusantara Regas also requires urgent upgrades to maintain efficient operations. Looking ahead, rising demand from both the power and industrial sectors is expected to bring LNG plant requirements close to maximum available regasification capacity by the mid-2030s, even accounting for the planned capacity addition. However, since all upcoming new terminals are led by PLN and primarily intended for power generation, there may be limited distribution capacity for industrial and other users. Moving on to Central and East Java, while exploration efforts may provide supply boost in the medium term, the planned East Java Regas terminal will be critical for Gresik Surabaya Industrial Hub as existing fields mature. And for the rest of Indonesia, as many of you know, most of the supply sources, outweigh a lot of the demand there. But due to limited pipeline infrastructure across rest of Indonesia, regional volumes may have to be distributed via small-scale LNG infrastructure. And now, after we're done with the supply-demand balances, let's move to the gas and LNG infrastructure overview. And as LNG grows in importance for Indonesia's energy security, the development of its midstream infrastructure is critical to ensuring reliable gas delivery from upstream sources to end users. The country presently operates 3 liquefaction plants and 7 regasification terminals, supported by over 22,000 kilometers of pipelines concentrated in high-demand areas such as East Java, West Java, and South Sumatra. To reach remote or off-grid users, small-scale LNG solutions such as LNG trucking have been deployed in regions of North Sumatra and East Kalimantan. However, the increasing demand for domestic LNG is expected to strain this infrastructure, underscoring the need for timely investment, network expansion, and scalable last-mile solutions. To strengthen future energy security and to meet growing LNG demand, Indonesia is undertaking strategic initiatives to expand its natural gas infrastructure. This includes significant investments in pipeline connectivity and the development of new LNG regasification terminals across the archipelago. Okay, yep. So, in this second section, we went through supply demand at the country level, at the provincial level, and an overview on the LNG infrastructure. In the next section, we want to touch a bit on the challenges and opportunities. And, for this section, I will mainly be talking about 4 main areas. On the top right, we want to start with regasification, and then we will talk about pipeline, and then we will talk about LNG trucking, and then we will talk about regulations. But to start with pipelines, Indonesia has announced proactive plans to expand its regasification. To start with regasification, Indonesia has announced proactive plans to expand its regasification capacity. However, as of 2025 June, the Teluk Ramung regasification facility in East Java is the only terminal under construction to support Java's gas needs for the power and industrial sectors, while other proposed projects remain at a speculative stage. In addition, several existing terminals such as Nusantara Regas will require future upgrades or replacement to maintain reliability and operational efficiency. From 2035 onwards, LNG demand is projected to outpace existing regasification capacity. This highlights the need for timely investment in both new regasification capacity and the modernization of existing assets across the key demand regions. This is shown on the chart on the right. So for each of these four sections, there's one slide to talk to challenges and recommendations. So I talked about the challenges in limitations in regasification capacity earlier, but from a recommendations perspective, there is two. One is upgrade and add new regasification infrastructure to enhance existing regasification assets in West Java, to extend operational capacity and storage flexibility such as Nusantara Regas. And with terminals planned under the RUPTL 2025 to 2034, effective coordination between PLN and PGN will be key to ensuring efficient distribution of regasified LNG. Number two, the second recommendation is to establish new regasification sites in East Java. And we have also put some quotes that we interviewed, during the 2 months of the project, right? And from a midstream player, there was a quote saying regasification infrastructure is likely to be a challenge as existing units are quite highly utilized. More regasification capacity will be needed to increase energy security. Moving on to pipelines. Indonesia's current gas pipeline network is segmented into 3 main clusters: North Sumatra, South Sumatra, West Java, SSWJ, and East Java. While this configuration has historically supported regional gas distribution, declining production from mature fields highlights the need for greater connectivity to ensure supply reliability across regions. The government has plans for 6 strategic pipeline projects as shown in this table, aimed at linking these clusters and strengthening the national gas transmission network. The first 3 are pipelines that are under construction and under tender: Cirebon Semarang, WNTS, and Dumai Semangke pipelines, right? I'm sure many of you are familiar with this. And for the other 3 more speculative projects is Borneo Java, Natuna West Kalimantan, and Trans Kalimantan pipelines. And for the challenges under pipelines and the recommendations, the challenges are that a lot of these infrastructure are aging in key demand corridors. There's limitations on pipeline flexibility, and there's high capital intensity to develop new pipelines in frontier regions. And the recommendations identified was 1, to build new interconnectors to integrate the supply network; 2, design for flexibility; 3, phase pipeline development in line with demand certainty; and 4, modernize aging pipelines to preserve network reliability. An interesting quote here was, if the Dusem pipeline is connected, the Andaman gas can flow smoothly via pipeline to serve the demand in Sumatra and West Java, which would be cheaper than LNG. Now, moving on to LNG trucking. This is also another interesting area that we looked into in this second report. Indonesia's trucked LNG sector is still emerging, currently serving some power plants and industries in Kalimantan, North Sumatra, and Sulawesi. PLN presently supplies LNG by truck from Bontang to power plants in Balikpapan. PGN also operates LNG trucking services for the industrial sector. Since early 2024, PGN has distributed LNG from PT Kayan LNG Nusantara in North Kalimantan to smelter facilities in Southeast Sulawesi. The country that is actively pursuing trucked LNG to supply remote power stations as part of PLN's initiative to shift coal and diesel plants to gas power. Specifically, PLN EPI is targeting the conversion of at least 20 diesel power plants totaling 2,278 megawatts of installed capacity across 6 key remote clusters as illustrated in the map. To support this transition, PLN EPI is collaborating with consortiums to develop LNG import infrastructure for each cluster, including the use of trucked LNG. And for the challenges and recommendations on LNG trucking, the challenges, as many of you know, are high unit costs, end user demand uncertainty, and inadequate road infrastructure. So the recommendations here is one, to optimize delivery through clustering and routing strategies for LNG trucking. Two, prioritize critical road upgrades in LNG reliant corridors. And three, stabilize offtake through flexible contract structure. An interesting quote here is that trucked LNG operations are often constrained by the size of the road. Some roads are not big and can potentially accommodate only 10 to 20-foot ISO tanks. Now for the last one, regulations. Indonesia's potential need for LNG imports have placed increased importance on the regulatory readiness of key government bodies. Effective coordination and clear regulatory frameworks are essential for ensuring smooth LNG operations, infrastructure development, and market growth. 5 main institutions, BPH Migas, SKK Migas, MEMR, Ministry of Trade, and Ministry of Industry, play significant roles in shaping the LNG landscape. A series of steps are in place to facilitate LNG receiving into the country. MEMR sets the priorities for domestic gas allocation, ensuring that domestic needs are met before considering imports. SKK Migas plays a key role in assessing domestic production and determining if imports are necessary, with quarterly evaluations based on supply and demand forecast. For cross-border LNG transactions, the Directorate General of Oil and Gas within MEMR provides recommendations based on domestic supply and demand conditions. Thereafter, the Ministry of Trade issues import approvals considering these recommendations. This multi-agency approach ensures that LNG imports are only permitted when domestic supply is insufficient or infrastructure limitations exist. And the recommendations under regulations is, one, to clarify the long-term role of LNG imports. I think there's more clarity needed. Number two, improve interagency coordination and alignment. Number three, strengthen regulatory and commercial frameworks. And number four, improving permitting efficiency and processes. An interesting quote is administrative processes could be streamlined further to reduce delays, especially when cargoes are being redirected from the export market. And with that, that brings us to the last slide. So Indonesia is entering a defining period in its gas sector, where infrastructure development will shape the trajectory of national energy security, industrial growth, and regional equity. Targeted investment in regasification capacity, particularly in high-demand regions, and the modernization of aging in pipelines will enhance system resilience and ensure timely delivery to both industrial hubs and remote clusters. Infrastructure alone is not enough. Clear demand signals, credible offtake arrangements, and commercially viable delivery models such as small-scale LNG and hybrid systems will be essential to unlocking new markets. At the same time, a supportive regulatory environment with transparent access and procurement rules will be key to mobilizing investment and enabling long-term planning. And, ultimately, to bridge the next gas wave, we will require alignment across all these three areas: infrastructure, markets, and policy. The foundations are in place. Realizing Indonesia's gas potential now depends on bold execution, coordinated action, and the readiness to deliver at scale nationwide. And with that, I thank you very much for your attention and attendance today. I hope you have managed to take away a few key messages. And yeah, that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for Restart Energy, especially for Mr. Samuel Law. So ladies and gentlemen, we are moving to our next agenda. And in this opportunity, would like also to specially welcome the presence of the Vice Chairman of Indonesia Gas Society. Good afternoon and welcome to Bapak Rahmat Dewanto. So ladies and gentlemen, in order to further enrich our understanding, we now proceed with the interactive discussion. Allow me to introduce our distinguished moderator, Mr. Daniel Purba, which currently position as the founder and advisor of Indonesia Gas Society, as well as the President Commissioner and Independent Commissioner of PT Badak LNG. So please welcome Bapak Daniel Purba.
Oke, selamat sore, good afternoon ya, belum good evening ya, masih belum jam 6. Yeah, I think we've been listening to Sam from Rystad explaining a little bit about the main context of the white paper. As you can see here, I think the title, the keywords from the title that we would like to deliver from this white paper actually is really straightforward issues, which is what will it take to unlock, this is the keywords, to unlock the gas potential. I think Sam already stipulated the unlock the potential, supply potential, and demand potential. So I think it's been explaining quite brief. So I suppose there's still some clarification from the floors, from the audience, that perhaps you have some questions. Feel free to raise your hand. So I would welcome 2 to 3 questioners as a first stage. Anyone? Sepertinya masih mencoba mendigest ya. Okay, so I think let me start, the discussion. I think 3 projects that Sam shows us, from the IDD, Andaman, and Abadi. So this 3 project is expected to produce 7.5 BCF in 2032. Yeah, 7.5 BCF. I think it will be the main source of the core source of the gas from Indonesia. However, to bring the gas from the subsurface, it takes the FID. And for the FID, I think export market is required. Even though if you look at the graph after 2035, still supply-demand gap is still there. But I think to start producing the gas from these 3 giant oil gas reserve, the export market is still needed for the FID, especially for the financing requirements. So Sam, how do you see the competitiveness of these 3 projects to bring it to the international market to enable this project to put on the FID? Otherwise, it still always be a paper. If there is no FID, then there will be no any single gas flowing from these 3 projects. So looking at the current regional market as well as the global market, where we can see will be some more LNG project will be on stream perhaps, or some FID in the near terms, that will become the competition in the international market. So how do you see these 3 gas resources, and which country that you think would be the good target for Indonesia gas resources?
Thank you, Pak Daniel. Yes, definitely. I think these three projects will be key for meeting the supply needs of the country post 2028. And I think it will be interesting to see. I think I mentioned there was a draft bill for 60% DMO for some of these projects. And that I think it will be interesting to see the negotiations that will happen on what sort of LNG prices we will be able to get for the export markets versus the domestic market, and how much of this production will be exported versus domestic. I think the top sort of buyers for LNG today is still your JKTC market, Japan, South Korea, China, Taiwan. But I think also increasingly now Southeast Asian countries will continue to drive a lot of LNG demand growth with a lot of production decline in the region. But I think Indonesia, with its sort of strategic location, it's well positioned, and amidst and in the market today, it's quite interesting where buyers today are willing to pay a bit of a premium for countries that are outside some of the geopolitical tension areas. And that's something interesting that we've heard about recently, and we will be interesting to see how this develops moving forward. But Indonesia, it has a strategic location. For transportation cost, it will be effective to bring to North Asia. And we don't have some of the geopolitical tensions as seen in sort of the US-China routes, or let's say the Middle Eastern countries. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. So I think that will be the challenge for the three gas resources to bring into the market and to be able to get a FID in the near future. I think next year will be the FID years for many projects on the gas. Okay, anybody wants to ask the question? Dalam bahasa juga nggak apa-apa kalau mau bertanya. Okay, belum ada. So, Sam, I think we need to see more concrete ways to take into the action, right? Because as we said, what will it take to unlock, right? So you mentioned as well until 2028, Indonesia will face tight supply of the gas. 2028 is next 3 years, yeah, 3 years to go. So, I mean, you mentioned also some recommendations. What will it take to unlock the gas potential? So my question is, to cater with the next, 3 years period, short term, so-called, what would you think the top of your mind, say, 3 regulations to be issued by the government or the regulator to deal with this 3 years tight supply of gas?
Yeah, thanks, Pak Daniel. I guess this is a interesting question, a challenging question. It's always hard to comment on regulations. But I think infrastructure will be key to really unlocking the potential here. And I think like public-private partnerships are an interesting thing to think about. If we look to the case study of India, India had to build a lot of pipelines, and they have managed to get the private sector in, and that has, in a way, successfully built out a lot of the city gas networks and things like that. So I would say public-private partnerships is one thing to think about. How do we enable bankable infrastructure projects? Maybe another thing is sort of aligning LNG procurement objectives and incentives. I think there's, in the event where we need a lot more LNG imports and LNG procurement, I think there's a lot of coordination, a lot of planning, mainly between PLN, PGN, How can we aggregate a lot of these volumes to get better pricing, get better sellers, much better planning of how we distribute this down to the regions. And maybe the third thing to think about is how can we streamline permitting and licensing, right? I think from the interviews we've had during those the 2 months, permitting and processing and licensing is something that takes a lot of time. And 3 years is not a lot of time. And we really need to emphasize how can we streamline the processes, how can we reduce the lead times, how can we create maybe a single window to sort of and create so much more certainty of how we can get all the permits and licenses to build out this infrastructure. Yeah, maybe these are the three things to think about. Thanks.
Okay. So infrastructure, public-private partnership, as well as streamlining the permitting or licenses. Yeah. Thank you, Sam. Bapak Ibu sekalian, I think we also have Pak Ahmad Wijaya here that will share his thought from the point of view of the gas consumers, from the industry point of view side. So we'd like to welcome Pak Ahmad Wijaya to come on stage to share your view. Please, Pak. You want to do it here or on the podium? It's up to you.
Terima kasih Pak Daniel. Bapak Ibu sekalian, good afternoon. I think to me, I'm about to explain or just share about what we are actually hoping to get a change from the white paper. Because we need to change, because the data which is we are having as part of the user, year to years, there's not much different. Because if we see the number just now from the white paper, I think a lot of number which is never changed. Especially if I can share what I already collected some data. Mas Budi boleh di-share nggak, Mas Budi? Kok Budi? This is what we are collecting some data from the user, because I'm representing the user from the Chamber of Commerce, which is Kadin Indonesia. So Bapak Ibu sekalian di sini mungkin saya bahasa Indonesia sedikit dulu ya. Karena Bapak Ibu di sini kan adalah hulu, midstream sama hilir. Nah, kita ini kan pemakai. Jadi kalau kita pemakai, we are discussing most likely what we are having here, we try to recommend and then we share. So the best is we can do interactive lah, lebih baik daripada mendengar kan susah ya. Setuju? Ini pada belum dinner Pak Aris, jadi maaf agak lemot dikit Pak. Low bat udah. So these are the data that we have. I think basically same like what Sam just now introduced in the white paper Pak ya. Oke, next kita lihat bahwa natural gas to us, these are the places where we see. From here to here, these are all the industry. Forget about that. Okay? We are basically taking all the gas from here to here. And we have a biggest problem which is unconnected. In Java is the GSM. Until today, we are not maximizing all the supply. That's number one. Number two, based on what we are hearing from here to here, is decreasing day by day. So we are now using with the natural gas and LNG. But for sure, the LNG, the government never inform us what is the next step of the LNG. This is the biggest problem. Tolong catat nanti buat pertanyaan ya. Thank you. Next. We are seeing today, you see, this is the today situation. This data is being published everywhere, and this is the today situation. All of that we never achieve, especially in the oil base and the gas situation also. What we're seeing, the number which is in the white paper, 5, 6 something. We also never get the full supply until today because of the shortage of natural gas. Okay, these are all the facts which is we need to be doing some interaction to interactive to talk further what we should do for the next 2030. Do not speak about the 2045 too far away. The golden year is still another step to go. What we need to do is the 5 years, because when we are talking up to 2045, another new president, two terms, two new president coming. And we're talking about today is the current president and the 2030. Next. See, the core dilemma is this: upstream industry, oil and gas company, downstream industry. We are basically here. The red dot here is price conflict, upstream project stagnation, plus threaten to downstream industry competitiveness. This is our biggest problem. User ya, Bapak Ibu, user. Karena di sini kan ada hilir, ada hulu ya. Saya sama Pak Rahmat kan user. Jadi saya bela dikit PLN, kalau nggak nyala lampu. Next. This is the situation. See the charts. Natural gas and product 16%. This is all black. Means we are in the situation of coal, which is PLN also use. We also use as an industry. We also use the coal, and PLN also use the coal. Once PLN use the coal, supply to us, and we do in the industry, when we do the export, we got a problem of ESG. So these are the chart. This is the problem also. So we need to discuss further. Next, we'll see final energy consumption today is basically, you see, 46% others don't know what to what by survey. Industry is on the way very small. 36% is in the transportation. On the way, all the EV is coming. Maybe we will get better. Maybe, we don't know. Okay? And we will see the 20% of the renewable energy target is there. This is the data of 2024 as a user, yeah? Next. Policy goal. See here? Fair for strategic sector, transparency of investor, competitiveness of for export-oriented industry. This is what we're doing. We don't see the others. This is the problem. We still have a problem on this because of uncertainty of the supply, because of HGBT. HGBT bahasa Inggrisnya diterjemahkan susah. Jadi HGBT aja ya. Okay. Next. I think you know HGBT, right? You know, right? As a neighbor. Yeah. You understand, huh? So the recommendation of number 1, strategic labor intensive sector, we are together with PLN. Are we getting this number? No, we are currently get more than 7 and plus today. Okay, Number two, export oriented. We are still not very clear about this LNG. Are we blending forever or are we blending today only? We don't know because we do not have all the plan from the government. Number three, the CNG position today for us as an industry when we do not have the natural gas, we are using CNG which is cheaper than the blend. Koreksi kalau salah, jangan marah, yang jual blending. Oke? Ini semua buat pertanyaan, jangan nanti lupa lagi, biar kita sama-sama, biar bisa ditulis, dipublish keluar, biar Prabowo bisa baca. Soalnya Prabowo nggak pegang handphone, jadi mesti dikasih ke asisten baca. Next. Recommendation 2. Mechanism all domestic gas supply is sold into incentive price of 6 to 7. We are not getting. This is what we are been told through the capman. And then gross subsidy, can we make it? We have already get from fertilizer and PLN. I think PLN also not get any subsidized. I don't know. Ada dikit Pak ya? Dikit ya? HGBT dikit ya? Dikit. Dikit ya? Titiknya apa koma atau titik dikit lah ya? Oke. We are the same. So that's the benefit of this. We are recommending number 2. Number 3. This one. This one we will share to everybody. Paris boleh kan? After share, then we can make later another next white paper. This will be recorded as well, Pak. Number 3, go ahead, next. Next. Wow. Recommended transparent pricing formula. Number 1, open access. Okay. Eliminate closed door negotiation, rent seeking. Number 2, apply simple formula. Number 3, we are talking gas price. We try to stimulate this one, number to plus, and this one. And then last one is investor, consumer. Ini campur sedikit bahasa Indonesia karena susah dihitung-hitungnya. Ya, biar seru dikit. Soalnya baca-baca, ih kok aneh. Kalau nggak pada tidur. So these are additional bonus. Okay, next. Number 4, and there's one more. Number 4 is redirect subsidize to infrastructure. Because current problem, direct subsidize to end user, burden on the state budget and price distortion. Kita juga tidak mau membebankan sebagai user. Tapi kita juga perlu certainty problemnya. Problem now is because of uncertainty situation. Number 2, redirect subsidize towards infrastructure development. Because as we know, until today, we only have about 9,000 kilometers of the pipeline. Until today, we are not developing anything. 5,000 kilometer new pipeline network. Masih tanda tanya tadi kan banyak stage ya. Mini LNG like your white paper just now, mini LNG, we can share and make some investment together. Storage facilities, and then distribution costs, natural become cheaper. Possible or not, these are all the discussion. Okay, last one, the recommendation. Nomor 5, next. Sampai komputer lemot karena elektrik pakai coal ya. Bukan gas, jadi bakarnya kan slow, okay? Last one is development and natural gas exchange, initiate phase of ini. These are all the recommendation that were given. 2, upstream, midstream, downstream. Okay? Next. Phase 1, Phase 2, phase 3, roadmap summarize of the 5 recommendation. Okay, next. Yang cepat supaya nanti bisa cepat dinner ya. Kalau nggak pulang nanti kena demo 25 Agustus lagi. Win-win outcome, we propose this one. Are we still got this because of this? No. Downstream strategy industry continue to access affordability of this to this. Upstream. Upstream benar nggak 4? Upstream benar nggak 6? Nobody knows. But we were being told that we can accept the HGBT 6 or 7. Until today, the 7, we are not even get the $7. Yeah. Government, lower fiscal burden, sustain industry growth. Stronger energy security and improvement export competitiveness. The biggest problem now we are having is we have already launched, the government already launched a so-called food security, MBG. Until today, we're sitting in this room, we do not have a so-called energy security. Until today, when we're sitting here, we have to write properly as well, Pak Aris, in the next white paper continue. Where are we going to put a so-called energy security, Pak? That's also very important for us. Next, last one, closing. Balance gas price, the key to Indonesian next gas era. Unblocking the statement just now, Pak Daniel. Unblocking, Pak. New era. Avoid low price trap because supply deficit. Avoid excessively high price, loss of industry ini. So this is almost in and out between strategy to decide or between not to decide. Last one is a time for government to establish a gas price task force to manage, which is called Satgas Task Force menjadi ketahanan energi. Last one sudah selesai, ini closing, then we discuss. Please give us all the question for us to discuss and put in the notes of the white paper. Thank you Bapak Ibu sekalian.
Ya, terima kasih Pak Ahmad Wijaya. Kita ada constraint waktu, tapi saya coba kasih mungkin ada 1-2 pertanyaan dari floor.
Ditanya pada nggak mau.
Oke.
Takut di demo, nggak apa-apa, nggak ada yang demo.
Baik, saya kira apa yang tadi disampaikan oleh Pak Ahmad Wijaya itu mewakili representing the gas users. Of course, there's still some a gap between the producers and consumers. It happens in all sectors. So I think that's the issue. I mean, that's the point why we are sitting here. So I think we put everything on the tables. Any concerns from all players in the gas industries. I think that's very important for us to get all the feedback, aspiration, issues, opinion for us to build the good and wealthy gas industry to unlock the gas resources. I think from the 3 gas resources project, I think that will cost at least $25 billion capex investment for Abadi, Masela, Abadi, Andaman, and IDD. I think at least 25 billion. So close to 400 trillion rupiah. So it's a huge investment. So I think it takes all stakeholders to bring input. Otherwise, the gas will be sitting down there on the subsurface forever, and then we just fulfill our energy from the other resources. So any especially from media? Nothing? So maybe, yeah, only one question, please. Bahasa Indonesia nggak apa-apa ya. Sebentar ya, ini satu pertanyaan aja.
Ya,
Boleh
saya
sebutkan
Dudung,
dari media mana?
saya Dudung dari elsita.com, Pak. Ada
Elsinta.
beberapa elsita.com-nya. Yang pertama saya tanyakan adalah apa saja tantangan utama yang dihadapi Indonesia dalam mengembangkan potensi gas alamnya, Pak. Kemudian yang kedua, bagaimana kebijakan pemerintah dapat mempengaruhi pengembangan industri gas di Indonesia. Dan satu lagi, Pak, apa peran teknologi dalam meningkatkan efisiensi dan produktivitas industri gas di Indonesia? Ya, terima kasih, Pak.
Ya. Tadi yang pertama apa tadi, Mas?
Yang pertama, apa saja tantangan utama yang dihadapi Indonesia?
Oh, okay. So there's a question, Sam. What would be the most challenge to on the gas industry, yeah, to and that is, I think, related to number two, what sort of regulation that perhaps required, and number three, what would be the contribution of the technology to unlock the gas potential of Indonesia?
I think one of the key challenges is very apparent. What Pak Ahmad was presenting, and I think it's very real. Basically, is the balance between, do we have the right gas price to unlock more upstream potential, and are we still enabling our downstream industries to be competitive, right? I think the HGBT policy is there to support the industries, but at the same time try to balance upstream competitiveness. So at Rystad Energy, we have break-even prices of all the gas fields in Indonesia. And actually, for when we look at our analysis, we see that there's a lot more potential that Indonesia has, but requires higher gas prices to meet the break-even of upstream fields. Either that, or we allow a lot more export to achieve the LNG prices that's needed to make the projects commercially competitive. But on the other hand, if we allow too high domestic gas prices, then it impacts the competitiveness of downstream industries. And there's a lot, it's a huge GDP of that Indonesia has that's from the downstream businesses, right? So I think this is one of the biggest challenges that we need to balance. Yeah. And then on the second question, it was more on regulations. And I mentioned a bit earlier about, how it's always difficult to comment on regulations. But I think one out of the three things that I said earlier, maybe one of the more manageable regulations is on the processing of permits and licenses. There are many government bodies and agencies that need to coordinate for us to, build a pipeline or build a regas terminal, or, do further onshore field developments or offshore field developments, right? And it just takes a lot of time just to go through all of the permits that are required. So I think maybe one of the sort of quick wins is to try to streamline a lot of the permits and licenses required for upstream development. And the last one on technology, I think small scale LNG technology has come quite far. China has sort of been a very strong advocate for small scale LNG technology, and us in Indonesia, where we are archipelago, which means there are a lot of small islands that requires a lot of energy. Small scale LNG, right? As we continue to monitor and as technology continues to improve, hopefully we can get better cost competitiveness of some of these technology to support distribution of gas to the regions. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Yeah, I think we come to the end of this discussion. So please allow me and ask you to thanks to the Sam and Pak Ahmad Wijaya for sharing their thought. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Pak Awe. Thank you. Terima kasih. Silakan. Saya kembalikan ke moderator.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. So let's give big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And I would like to invite gentlemen to stay on stage while we'll proceed to the token of appreciations. We would like to invite Bapak Daniel Purba as the organizing committee of Indonesia Gas Society to present a token of appreciations. So the first token of appreciations is present from IGS committee to Restart Energy. So I would like to invite to Mr. Samuel Law as the advisory of Asia Pacific Restart Energy. So let's give big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. So it's token of appreciations from IGS to Restart Energy. And the second one is the token of appreciations from IGS committee to Bapak Ahmad Wijaya. Let's give big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our three gentlemen here for a very insightful and strategic panel discussions that we just followed together. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And we would like to invite Mr. Samuel Law to stay on stage because we will proceed to the official handover of white paper book from Restart Energy to Indonesia Gas Society. And we would like to invite Bapak Aris Mulya Azov as the chairman of IGS to receive the official handover of white paper book from Restart Energy to IGS committee. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's give big round of applause. We are witnessing the handover of the official white paper from the Restart Energy regarding bridging the next gas wave. What will it take to unlock Indonesia's gas potential? Thank you very much, Pak Aris and also Pak Samuel Law. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. And we are proceed to our last agenda of our event. So we are proceed to the appreciation plaque to our sponsors. So we would like to invite our sponsors, our platinum sponsors from PT Pertamina Persero, PT PLN Energi Primer Indonesia, and also PT GTS International. We would like to invite the representative of PT PLN Energi Primer Indonesia, Bapak Mamit Setiawan, the corporate secretary of PT PLN EPI. And we would like also to invite Bapak Heru Prasetyo as the head of business development of PT GTS International, and also the representative of PT Pertamina Persero. And we would like to invite Bapak Rahmat Dewanto as the Vice Chairman of Indonesia Gas Society to present a token of appreciations from IGS to our sponsors. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, our Vice Chairman of IGS present a token of appreciations to PT GTS International. Let's give big round of applause, Bapak Ibu. And the second token of appreciations to PT PLN Energi Primer Indonesia. Thank you very much, Bapak-Bapak. And would like to invite Pak Rahmat to stay on stage. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Pak Rahmat, please kindly stay on stage because we are proceed to the presence of the gold sponsors. Would like to invite the representative of PT Perusahaan Gas Negara, Bapak Anas Pradipta, as the group head of gas supply and LNG trading. And also from PT Transportasi Gas Indonesia, Bapak Muhammad Zulkifli as the Director of Operation. So the first token of appreciation is present from IGS to PT Perusahaan Gas Negara. Let's give big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And the second token of appreciation is to PT Transportasi Gas Indonesia. Okay, thank you very much, Bapak Rahmat Dewanto, and also our sponsors of Platinum sponsors and also Gold Platinum sponsor for your support of our event this afternoon. So ladies and gentlemen, we are entering the last agenda of our event this afternoon, but our event still continue after this with the dinner and also networking. So we would like to invite for all of you to join the dinner and networking outside this main hall. So once again, thank you very much. And we also would like to invite you with the entertainment that will be presented in this main hall. So once again, thank you very much. On behalf of the Indonesian Gas Society Committee, would like to thank you for your time and thank you very much.
Selamat malam dan enjoy the dinner. IGS welcome welcome 35. Selalu teringat dirimu. Ini kau namanya insan dan jatuh cinta mengapa semua begitu indah dilihat begitu sedap dipandang semalam ku ingin selalu tersembunyi tapi aku malu padamu. Aku malu, aku malu, aku malu, aku malu, aku malu, aku malu. Dia suatu suasana Dan saya dalam coba mendekati ku tak tahu diri. Oh ya sungguh mempesona. Ini ku bayangkan aku ini bercinta dengan diri. Aku tak kuasa, aku tak mau terus berkata apa. Ini karena cinta, oh ini kan cinta, cinta pada jumpa pertama. Ini kan rasanya cinta, oh ini kan cinta, rasa bahagia saat jumpa dengan dirinya. Berjumpa jam berikutnya, suasana berbeda. Antara itu masih ada, ingin dekati dirinya, kita tak wajah. Oh dia sungguh mempesona, ingin aku menyapa dirinya, bercanda tawa dengan diri. Namun apa yang ku aku tak tahu berkata apa. Berikan namanya cinta, oh ini kan cinta, cinta pada jumpa pertama. Ini kan rasanya cinta, oh ini kan cinta, rasa bahagia saat jumpa dengan dirinya. Bila diri ini ingin jumpa, bersama dalam segala suasana. Bila masih cinta, oh ini kan cinta, cinta pada jumpa yang pertama. Ini kan rasanya cinta, oh ini kan cinta, rasa saat jumpa. Ini kan namanya cinta, oh ini kan cinta, cinta pada jumpa pertama. Ini kan rasanya cinta, oh ini kan cinta, rasa saat jumpa. I see you. Slowly left me extraordinary. It's like all that anyone that you adore and find is all that I can give to you. Me and you. And be what I see. He is very shrouded in reality. Is even more than anyone that you are more and love. Is all that I can give to you. And love is more than just a gift for two. And you can make it up. Take my heart, don't break it. Stay for It's hard away. Oh, it's hard to come home. Years of Harry, strong and very. It's even more than well that you adore and love is all that I can even give to you. Love is more than just a game for two. Love can take it out, take my heart, don't break it. Oh, the shame behind you. Oh, the shame behind you. Oh, first thing for me. Never we can there someday, they say, down, down, make it just, and another stars, still together, still falling strong. You don't love me. Want it to be long, still do not know. Oh, baby, you must know, still don't that I. Oh, only but I'm a tree. Still the one I Still together, still going strong. You know why? Wanted to be alone. Still know why? Oh, still know why? Still know why? We all know that we still know why? Still know so far from our baby. pada semua merah. Jangan baris diri, barang kecurigaan, seakan penulisannya sedang berisi menangkan masyarakat. Let's go. Sungguh ada tapi tak terlupa. Bisa kasih di sekolah dan sendirian. Ada masalah indah, masa-masa bersejarah. Ada masalah indah, kisah kasih beri Selamat menikmati makan malamnya kepada minggu. Tapi nyata takkan terlupa kisah kasih di sekolah dengan sirian. Ada masa paling indah, masa-masa sekolah. Ada kisah paling indah, kisah kasih dulu ada tapi ada takkan terlupa. Bisa kasih di sekolah dan sendirian. Ada masa paling indah, masa-masa sekolah. Ada kisah paling indah, kisah kasih terlalu sedih setelah aku jatuh putih. Betapa hatiku bersedia dengan kasih dan sayang. Ada selasa andaikan kau datang kembali, jawaban apa yang akan ku beri? Adakah jalan yang kau temui untuk kita kembali lagi? Bersinarlah bulan purnama, langit dan senyum Betapa hatiku bersedih mengenang kasih dan sayang. Minta seluruh kan berlalu. Andaikan kau datang kembali, jauh apa yang akan ku beri. Ada jalan yang kau temui untuk kita kembali lagi. Bersinarlah bulan purnama, saya dapat tulus cinta saya. Bersinarlah terus sampai akhir. Lagu ini lagi. Andaikan kau datang kembali, jawaban apa yang akan ku beri? Adakah jalan yang kau temui untuk kita kembali lagi? Bersinarlah bulan purnama, saya sangat tulus cintanya. Bersinarlah terus sampai akhir. Bersinarlah terus sampai akhir. Bersinarlah terus sampai akhir. Lagu ini berarti.
My bags are packed, ready to go. Standing here outside the door. Ready to take you out to say goodbye. But to tell it's spring and it's early morning. Taxi's waiting, it's all in the sun. Raining, I'm so almost I could die. Also kiss me and snow falling. Something that you're longing. hold you by shoulder, be gone. Tell me that all just fake. So now we're going back again. Only I have to go. I have to go. There's so many times I've let you down. Many times I've played around. Until now, every place I go, I think of you. Well, it's all I think. I sing for you when I come back. I give you me. So kiss me, a strong for me. Tell me that you're for me. Hold like you'll never let me go. So please, hold down. Don't know when I'll be left again. Oh, baby, I have to go. Have to go. I run and be push your eyes and be on my way. This about that's the count, and I learn how to live alone. Good night, someone have to say. Oh, yes, we have fun for me. From the shine for me. Oh, like you'll never let me go. Oh, baby, I belong. Oh, baby, I want you back. Oh, baby, I have to go. I have to go. come knocking. It's only selfish thing. If I hadn't known it, you would know that you were. You can confidently, boy. You